People are gonna get mad at me for this one. I have read a lot of scripts. A lot of scripts. And let me tell you the number one thing that makes me want to close out of a script as soon as I've started reading: a huge block of text. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. This is a no judgment zone, but let me explain to you why your description is make or break in a script. I'm Megan. I am an aspiring TV writer and I work as a script reader for screenwriting competitions. Welcome back to my series Make or Break, where we go through all the different elements of a script that are make or break, the difference between a pass and a recommend for an exec. Today, we're talking descriptions. Coming from somebody who wanted to write books, description was the weirdest thing ever for me when it came to scripts. But I actually found that as I learned how to write them in a way that benefits scripts and supports them, I actually preferred it. So don't worry if I start spouting things and you're like, oh my God, I do that, am I a terrible writer? We all start somewhere. There is still so much I have to learn and grow. First things first, the general rule, and it depends person to person who you ask what the exact number is, but what I was taught is you don't want your paragraphs to be more than 4 lines each. And you don't want these huge blocks of text. The minute I see one of those, my eyes glaze over and I have such a hard time actually focusing. Okay, now this is one of my biggest pet peeves. I read a script and something in the description and action lines includes information that can't be shown on screen. The character's thoughts and feelings should not be in the description. Again, this is something that was a really big adjustment for me when I moved from writing books and short stories and all of that, because the description can be full of that. In fact, it's great to do things like that because you're pulling the reader into the character's world. But in a script, you're not seeing that on screen. If a character has some snarky, sarcastic comment that they only think in their own head, putting it in the description of a script doesn't really help anyone. They roll their eyes, or if they mutter under their breath, that's going to be something that your audience can see. That puts something actionable to the moment, whereas a passing thought never makes it on camera. Another thing that's really difficult as a script reader is when there's not enough balance between the description and the dialogue. So sometimes it's not even that the paragraphs themselves are too long, but it's like you've got 6 paragraphs to 1 line of dialogue. So it's not enough to just only have 4 lines per paragraph and then have 6 paragraphs of 3 lines each. And you don't want too much dialogue either. You do need description to break that up as well. Now, the other thing that I think a lot of people don't always consider is you want to avoid too much detail. Again, coming from novels, you're used to being told you want as much detail as possible, but when it comes to scripts, it can actually bog things down, and there's a lot that you don't really need to have figured out as the writer, which I know, again, is gonna sound really weird to people who are used to writing novels, short stories, all of that. Pay attention. She's about to tell you what this whole thing boils down to. You don't want to bog it down. I feel like that's what I've been talking about a lot here. Description can really easily bog down a script. And that's the biggest thing to avoid, is you don't want the pacing dragged down by your description. We don't need the detail of what shade the sky is and what types of clouds are out. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. But take it one day at a time. Try and figure out where you can start implementing these into your script. Now, last time on Make or Break, we talked about stakes. Stakes are something that can be overlooked a lot, and sometimes people don't really see them as being anything but for drama or action scripts, but I'm telling you that is such a mistake. If you feel like you don't have a handle on the stakes in your script, go ahead and watch this video next, because I'm telling you, when the stakes aren't high, I don't even know what I'm reading.